everybody. Welcome back to Everything's Taken, episode 6, featuring 3 fidget spinners. Shawn, I don't know if you have one.
It's not in the room.
I have an extra one for Shawn. It's fine.
That's right. Well, we've all got our fidget spinners out. Welcome back, everybody. It's been a little while. How you been? We've got a jam-packed episode full of not only fidget spinning. By the way, this fidget spinner goes for 1 minute and 54 seconds if you don't touch it.
Did you count? You time it?
I timed it. Wood, how are you? How you been?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm happy to be here on the Fidget Spinner podcast. And I've brought a friend along. I feel like if anyone has watched my channel over the last year, they already know who this guy is, and it probably needs no introduction. But for the sake of the people that don't know,
who is Shawn? Who is Shawn?
Who is Shawn Long, otherwise known as Schlong on YouTube?
I don't know. I'm Eric Perez, so that's why I'm wearing the 8-Bit Eric shirt.
You were actually mistaken for Eric Perez at Too Many Games.
I was.
Tell us a little bit about that.
I was talking to some like 2 random guys who are a fan of the channel, and this guy just kind of comes up and interrupts. And he's like, "Oh, 8-Bit Eric, I'm a big fan of the channel, man. I'm glad to see you again." I was like, "Hey, thanks, buddy. Make sure you unsubscribe." And he just kind of looked at me perplexed and walked away. And
that's gonna be a little insulting, doesn't it, to be recognized as 8-Bit Eric? Like, that's how you know you've let yourself go a little bit.
Well, the thing is, like, he's so much shorter than I am. I have a good.
He's also pudgier.
Oh yeah, like, because I went over to the Screenwave booth like right after that, and I was like, yeah, some guy thought I was you. He was like, well, did you send him over and tell him to buy a shirt? I was like, no, I told him to unsubscribe, and he just kind of looked at me, and I was like, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. So yeah, we've got Shawn with us today from YouTube fame. Shawn Long on YouTube. Great videos, by the way. I watch you because you're fairly consistent, just like Wood, on YouTube with all your content. So I've enjoyed you for a long time. So it's a pleasure to have you here on the program. We've got a lot of stuff to talk to you about today because there may be some viewers out there who don't know who Shawn is. So Shawn Long, tell us about you. You're on YouTube, of course. How'd you get started? What do you do on YouTube? Like, where's your fidget spinner? Just talk to us about you.
I have a guitar pick. I'll just use that as my fidget spinner.
I've got a couple guitar picks too.
So originally I started on YouTube a little over 3 years ago with the Nintendo Enthusiast YouTube channel. I started writing for them, and they had a YouTube channel with 400 subscribers, and I thought that was a lot of subscribers. And so I was like, hey, can I make videos? And they were like, well, have you ever made a video? And I was like, no. And they were like, well, just don't make, something crappy. So I literally started with a webcam and Windows Movie Maker. And then about a year or so into that, everyone else kind of had side project channels. And I was wanting to do retro stuff. And retro stuff didn't really do good on the Nintendo Enthusiast channel. And so I started RGT 85. And it ended up going really, really well. And, I've been doing it for about 2 years now. And, yeah, I'm really happy with the way things have been going. And hopefully they continue that way in the future.
Yeah, I love your content. I mean, I love talking over each other too, so that's going to be plenty in this episode.
It's only been recently, though, that you've been blowing up a little bit. And I mean, it's funny because we've been, I guess, helping each other blow up, because the 2 of us together have gone up 20,000 subscribers each over the last, 6 months or something crazy like that. And it is kind of like a dick swinging contest for us every day as well. Like, every day we wake up and message each other like, how many subs you got today? 300? Well, I got 400.
Well, but I mean, you're right, because I did a panel late February in Raleigh, trying to give people, who were trying to, get into YouTube, like, tips. And I remember distinctly saying, I'm almost at 23,000 subscribers. So, things have been going really well for me. And now I'm almost at 41,000 subscribers in the start of July. So, I mean, yeah, it's been crazy fast, dude.
That's great.
Well, it was a month ago that I hit 40,000, and I'm probably going to hit 50,000 here in the next couple of days. And it was the day that I hit 40,000, I got a notification on Facebook saying, share this memory from exactly a year ago. And it was when I hit 20,000. So we really have, like, together been blowing up at the same time. So it's cool. Plus we encourage each other, share ideas every day. Like, we talk every day, share ideas. You're the reason I even have a video up today, because last night I filmed 3 videos and none of them had audio. At 10 p.m. at night, I was ready to cry and get into bed and play Horizon. And you gave me a stern talking to and said, redo it now. you have 50,000 subscribers. Don't keep them waiting. So I went and we did it, put the video up, and already in like 8 hours, it has 15,000 views. So that's 15,000 views because of Shawn. That's extra subs because of Shawn.
Well, look, guys, I don't mean to swing my dick pretty big, but, you know, I just hit 1,400 subs the other day. So congrats for me. I got 5 subs over the weekend.
You've been putting effort back into your channel again, though, recently.
Yeah, so since we've last done the podcast, Retro Game Remix is back. So I've totally rebranded the entire channel. I had my wife redo my little... Yeah, it needed that. Because what you've told me, you've given me some advice recently, like, oh, you got to redo your thumbnails at least and make it look like everything's kind of a brand. So I had my wife redo that and my little Retro Game Remix guy. So I'm 3 episodes deep into Retro Game Remix Season 4. And we'll be debuting a brand new song on this podcast. So stay tuned, folks. So I'm really proud of it. It's staying consistent is good, and plus it's good to interact with everybody. So I mean, it's a numbers game on YouTube. I realize that, but I'm just glad people are watching. So hey, we're all getting there, right? So maybe one day I'll hit 50,000.
Shawn and I will have to go through your channel with you at some point, maybe after this podcast, and look at your tags and stuff, see if we can help you out there even more.
Yeah, I downloaded this app for like extension for Chrome. It's called Tube Buddy.
No, get vidIQ. vidIQ is better.
vidIQ.
Yeah. Tube Buddy's good. It gets you there, but vidIQ is better.
Yeah, I attribute a lot of the success of some of my videos to vidIQ.
Definitely.
Wow. That's good. Well, hey, those of you out there who want to start a YouTube channel, look into that. And Shawn, look, we did a little bit of pre-show prep, folks. And Shawn, you've mentioned something really interesting. I mean, look, there's a lot of news and stuff that we want to get to today, like the SNES Mini and the possible N64 Mini. But does the name Hisense 8000 mean anything to you, Shawn? Tell me about that.
It honestly means everything to me. So I live in North Carolina. It's very hot in North Carolina. And at around the start of June, the central air in the house that I'm living in just decided to go kaput. And at the time it went out, my landlord's husband was like in really bad health. So I was just kind of like, whatever. Okay. You know, I'll deal with the heat. And it's just been getting progressively worse and worse. I mean, she's been very, you know, she gave me free rent for the month of June, discounted rent, you know, for this month already, all sorts of stuff. But I was dying. So yesterday I got off work and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to Lowe's Hardware. I'm going to be a man and I'm going to look at some air conditioning units. And I found the Hisense 8000. And people, let me tell you, the Hisense 8000 has transformed my life. It is a portable air conditioning unit. So it kind of works like a window unit, but you can move it from room to room, and there's just a pipe that you stick out the window. Amazing.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Those are so beautiful. I had one of those 2 years ago during an Australian summer where it gets up to 115 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
So I know the kind of pleasure that you're experiencing right now. It's not.
I think the only reason I've managed to stay ahead of you in subs recently is because you've been covered in sweat and just way too hot to film anything a lot of these days that I've been filming.
No, you're right. Like if it's bad, and like people comment on my videos, they're like, "Why are you so sweaty and disgusting?" And it's like, like it actually became a running gag where like people would comment like, "Do we need to start like a GoFundMe to get you a window air conditioning unit? Like, what the hell is wrong?" Like, I don't know. Like, she's totally. It cost me $300 for the unit, and she's giving me the money back. Like, she was going to give me the money back already, and I was like, "No, don't worry about it. Just take it off of my rent in September because I've already paid August rent because that's another story." But I was like, "Just take $300 off the rent in September." She was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So.
Eric, did you ever come to my house when it was like summer? Or did you come when it was colder?
I came in August, so it was just like springtime. So it was fresh. It was fresh out.
In summer, that house got so hot, and in so many of my videos back then that were filmed in summertime, I was drenched in sweat, and there was like nothing I could do about it. No matter how many windows I opened, the air conditioning just was terrible. That was bad.
I'm living in an old house at the moment. I think it was built in the 20s, so there's like the insulation is just like brick wall. And I wake up every morning and I'm just breathing and I just see my breath. It's like 30 degrees every morning, and I'm just like, why did I choose to live here? But that's another story for another
The
day.
worst thing I ever did too was when I was filming that show Morning Wood, if anyone remembers Morning Wood.
Yes, I remember that.
We couldn't ever get the green screen to work because we always use natural lighting. And the natural lighting is terrible for green screen because it changes all the time. So I thought I'd go out and buy some lights, but I wanted to buy cheap lights, not studio lights. So I went out and I bought work lights, like the kind that like painters bring the work lights and like set these big yellow globes up, like halogen globes.
God.
They emit so much heat. And we're sat there in 40, 45 degree weather, which is like 100, 110. And we have these like work lights blaring on us. And I was just drenched in one of those videos. It was like the most disgusting thing.
I made the mistake of doing that. Like I bought, when I first started YouTube and I was like, oh, I better take it a little more seriously. I went to Home Depot and I bought the floodlights. And I was like, oh yeah, these will be fine. They might be a little too yellow, but I'll throw like a t-shirt in front of them, cool them down. And I take them out of the box and I'm sitting in front of them and immediately I'm drenched in sweat. And then I realize, oh, you got to buy like, you know, the halogen, the light bulbs with the LEDs and shit. So I've been there before. I know how it feels.
I mean, I still sweat I'm the type of person where if it's 60 degrees outside, I'm sweating. Like I'm always
you're
hot.
pretty much 8-bit Eric.
Yeah, it's a little more attractive. But yeah, so like this has just been miserable. Like last night, I wheeled it into my room and just set it up, and within like a few minutes, it went from like 80 degrees to like 72, and I was like, oh my God, I could sleep. I'm gonna sleep tonight.
So Shawn, let me ask you, we're both growing obviously substantially in size. So we're experiencing a lot of things. I feel like I'm experiencing a lot of things that some larger channels get to experience, and I'm going through it rather quick. And one of the things I'm experiencing right now is I've always been very open about my Facebook page and contacting me, my social media and adding me. So I have a lot of friends and followers on Facebook that have found me through YouTube. I am getting an increasing amount of inboxes now. The larger I grow, both on the Facebook page and on my personal page, of people I don't know messaging me, which a lot of the times is great. A lot of the times they just message me and say, you know, love the show, love the work, thanks for the ad, and that's fine. What are some of the weirdest things people have sent to you, though? I had someone send me a message today saying, hey, I have an idea for a video. Let's do how far a Nintendo Switch can fit up my asshole. And that's all. I don't know the guy. And that's all he sent to me. But and I didn't reply.
Did he say like with or without Joy-Cons? Because that would probably make a difference. He didn't specify.
All he said after that was about an hour later, I got ... Well, I thought it was a good idea, sad face.
See, I really haven't had many weird comments. I had a penis sent to me.
I've had that too.
And it wasn't from...
Was it like really shaved and bald and like no hair whatsoever?
Yeah.
What? It might be the same guy.
Was it like, was he like a Middle Eastern guy?
Yeah. It was, yeah. And he had like a really short name.
Yes.
But it was like...
Yeah.
That's so weird that he sent that thing to both of us.
That is really weird. But no, I mean, most people, I would say it's not necessarily like the worst thing or whatever. It's just sometimes like people will message me and I'll forget to message them back, or like people think, you know, I'm ignoring them and stuff. And like, I've never had anyone get mad. Luckily, I know you have.
I've had people get mad.
I know you have. I guess because you always seem kind of calm. You know, like your demeanor is a little different than mine. Like for the longest time, you used to be very polite in the comments, even when people were a dick to you, and I'd be like, "Nah, dude, you need to go after this dude." Whereas like I've always been like, you know, I don't care, I'll say whatever. So I think people know that like I'll snap on them anyways. Like it doesn't matter to me. But everyone's been, you know, the influx of messages definitely. Like I know, and you know, friend requests and stuff. Like, but I mean, honestly, I'm at the point where like. My Facebook friend request, there's probably like 20 people in the friend purgatory right now where they send you a friend request, but you don't confirm it, but you don't deny it. Yeah. And they're all local people. They're all people from my town, and it's mostly dudes. And I'm like, why are you adding me? I don't even know you. Like maybe we went to high school together, but like if somebody sends me a friend request and I look and, you know, it's all video game people, I add them immediately. Cause that's like, okay, well, you know, this is a potential subscriber. This is a potential viewer. Well, what the hell, you know?
Another weird one I had was I had a lady message me and tell me that she's like, don't be weirded out by this, but I think you look like a more attractive version of my husband. I didn't know what to say. I just kind of left that one. I think I should thank you with a smiley face.
You should have sent her a nude and asked if everything looked the same.
No, I should have. You're right. Absolutely. Or just sent her the picture of that other guy's dick.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Rohit,
You can recycle it.
Yeah.
That's really funny. I had a couple people like who add me on Facebook. Like I don't know how they'd find me because I mean, well now in my videos I advertise pretty much who I am because I advertise my business at the beginning. Like this was recorded, mixed and mastered at ladstudios.com. So people probably find me from there. But I get people who have added me and I see they're on YouTube or they're like mutual friends are immediately Billy Chaser, Wood, etc., Shawn. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't really know you. And I don't know. Like, it's nothing personal, but I've never had anything like, you know, dick pics sent to me. But I've had people like comment on my videos like, great song, but video was boring. Guitar solo was unnecessary. I'm like, then why are you even here? Like, this is literally video game music. And you're telling me the guitar solo was unnecessary. Like, please just check your privilege, bro. Like, check it.
The weirdest interaction I've had with someone in person was the first Retropalooza I ever went to. Someone ran, like, end of the convention, it was over, and I guess they finally found me, and they ran up to me in the hallway, and they handed me a copy of Turok in box, and they're like, I'm a huge fan. He was there with his girlfriend. I'm a huge fan. And then without asking, he get a wet fucking sloppy kiss right on my cheek. This is a man.
Wow.
This is like a 35-year-old man. And like even his girlfriend was kind of taken back by it. Like, I didn't know you were gonna do that. I'm like, I didn't know he was gonna do that. And I just didn't know what to say. It was like, do I shake your hand now? Do I say thank you for the kiss? It was just so awkward.
I think you shake him with your hand, but somewhere a little lower. I mean, at that point, I mean, he's pretty much
or just
first
like
base.
maybe fist bumps only. That really is what I should have said.
Probably
at that
fist
point.
bumps only.
Can we?
Yeah, sorry.
That's an inside joke between us. Let's not name names.
All right.
Does anyone else think that it's kind of that you tell the story?
I'll tell the story. Okay, so it was coming on 3 years ago now, and Wood and Chris, my dear friend Chris, we miss Chris.
I miss Chris.
He's got a beard now. He's looking pretty good. He's looking
he looks
pretty
like
good.
Jesus.
So we're you guys came to pick me up to go to PAX Oz 2014.
Packs your bags.
It packs your bags. And, you know, we go down to get our passes early, like the day before the convention starts. So you, Chris, myself, Allie, and some very mysterious-looking gentleman whose voice sounded very familiar, almost like an Australian William Shatner, dare I say. So he comes to me and says, hey, how are you going? And basically, I try to offer to shake his hand. We all offer to shake his hand, but he's like, "No, fist bumps only." And I'm like, "What?"
But the way he said it was so standoffish. It was like he was offended by the handshake. And then when we asked him, we asked him why, and he's like, "I don't want to get sick. Like I always get like people give me germs at these conventions."
The PAX pox.
Like, okay, all right. I guess we just look like germy people. I suppose.
So I'm like, okay, hey man, nice to meet you, pleasure to meet you. What a great standout guy you are. Sorry, fist bumps only. And it was like, okay, well, fuck you too then. You know, it was just like that.
From that moment on, fist bumps only became a staple.
Fist bumps only.
No,
and show some respect was another good one.
Show some respect. Oh shit.
We'll leave that one alone.
Yes, we'll leave that one alone.
no, but the handshake thing is legit, dude.
I understand that. I totally understand that. But if it's like somebody reached their hand out to me, or if I did that, they're like, I'd like to shake your hand, but I don't want to get sick.
We met our close friend Ali's friend on a street in Melbourne a day before the convention. Like it wasn't even like at the convention. We just met someone who happened to have a YouTube channel that we knew through a friend, and he didn't want to shake like just two people's hands.
Okay, Rerez will not shake your hand. I've known Shane for a long time. When I first met him at Too Many Games 2016, I went to give him a handshake, and he stuck out his fist, and I was like, okay. And then afterwards, we were at the Screenwave party, and I was like, man, did he snub me? Like, what's going on? And I talked to him, and he was like, no, dude, I just don't want to get sick. I always bring hand sanitizer. I was like, oh, you're a pussy, man, whatever. And when I got back from Too Many Games 2016, I was sick as a dog. So this year I was fist bumping people, had my hand sanitizer. I was like, we're good today, buddy. Yeah, what's up?
It's like, okay, it's one thing because like if you're polite about it, but the thing is when you reach your hand out to somebody and they say fist bumps only, not very polite, but they're very, dare I say, let me tread the ground here.
Oh,
very blunt. Very blunt about it.
Say it.
Very blunty about it.
Uh-huh. Blunty.
Blunty 3000 about it.
I like that.
That's as far as I'm gonna go.
All right, let's talk about some video games. Let's cut to a little song.
We'll cut it a little early here. Okay, so as I alluded to before, Retro Game Remix Season 4 is back and better than ever. So I'm just gonna plug myself really quickly here because this is very important.
Plug yourself up, buddy. Plug it up.
So look, Retro Game Remix is back, youtube.com/Retro Game Remix. I will be debuting a brand new song on this podcast 1 week early. And this is anybody out there during the summer back in maybe 2001, 2002, maybe even 2017 right now in North Carolina with Shawn Slip and Slide Long sweating with his Hisense 8000. Anybody ever play Super Smash Bros. Melee? You ever wonder, you know, like, who's that Marth guy? Who's that Roy guy? But you just love the music. This video is Super Smash Bros. Melee Fire Emblem theme covered by me. So, look, guys, I really want you to enjoy it. If you enjoy the stuff, check out my channel. And if you really want to support, subscribe to me on Patreon. Give me $1. Early MP3s, early videos. I have an hour-long behind-the-scenes documentary of how I create a song from start to finish coming out next week. And it's how I made the Fire Emblem song. So if you like it, check it out, guys. So without further ado, I'll take it away with Martha Roy's theme from Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Whoa, whoa.
Oh, that was slick.
And welcome back. You just listened to the Super Smash Bros. Fire Emblem theme by our good friend Eric here. And we're going to dive into some video game talk right now here on the Everything's Taken podcast.
Finally!
I want to start with the SNES Mini. And the reason why I want to start there is because I've given my 2 cents on this. So it's a good chance for our guest here, Shawn, to give his 2 cents on the SNES Mini. Shawn, how do you feel about the SNES Mini? Are you excited? Are you not excited? Do you think the games suck? Are the games great? Is it worth it? Is it not worth it?
No, the library is outstanding. you know, a lot of people are like, it's Chrono Trigger, blah, blah, blah. Shut up, okay? The library is outstanding. We're talking, you know, Super Castlevania. You're talking Super Metroid. You're talking, you know, Secret of Mana. You're talking, I mean, this Final Fantasy 3. Like, here's the thing, and I think you brought this up in your video. The NES Classic was cool, but there was a lot of fluff in it. Like, there was a lot of games like Balloon Fight. Like, Balloon Fight's a cool game, but are you really going to play it a bunch? Like, the SNES Mini, everything is a must-play title. So I think that's where the big... I mean, Star Fox 2, for Christ's sakes. Like, it's smart, mostly. A lot of people are sort of... Here's... I almost feel like what they should have done is they should have made the SNES Mini, you know, and at its $80, and then for $60 they should have made a Switch game with everything on it, so that way, you know, you're still getting a good discount for not having the actual hardware, 80 versus 60, but that way Switch owners can play it too. You can mass produce the cartridges way easier than you could do the system. So the system, I mean, maybe it would end up being scalped more, but I think a lot more people would be happy with the Switch game as well.
I think that's honestly a really good idea. Yeah,
I would buy both.
I mean, the thing with the Nintendo Mini is I'm not limited to the library that they've given me. Like, I have all 700 games from the North American NES library on my NES Mini because, like, of course you can plug it in by USB and then just, you know, flash it, and there you go. There's your whole library. So I'm not honestly really concerned about the library of games. I'm happy with what they have on the SNES Mini. A lot of people are crying about Chrono Trigger. It's like, if you want it, go get it. You know what I mean? But the initial install library that's on the SNES Mini is really good, and I've pre-ordered mine through Games or EB Games here in Australia. So I'll get the Super Famicom one with the colored buttons, but I still want to get the American one as well just to have it. So I think it's a really smart move from Nintendo. And Shawn, like you said, honestly, if they had, you know, a Switch cartridge similar to like NES Remix, kind of where you could just flash through the library and just, you know, get the games, I think that's great. And Star Fox 2 finally commercially being available. Really surprising that Nintendo would do that. I mean, it was a finished game, so why not? But SNES Mini, smart move. Let's just hope that the people selling it really do limit it to one per customer. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of tears on Christmas morning this year.
I wonder if them leaving off Chrono Trigger, there was a reason for that, because it seems like a really popular game is to put Earthbound on but leave off Chrono Trigger. I wonder if they're planning something with Chrono Trigger down the line, maybe with the Switch.
Maybe. I mean, they have a couple more RPGs on there. Final Fantasy 3 and Super Mario RPG. That's a good choice.
I feel like Chrono would have been a better choice than Final Fantasy 3. Like, is that just me? Like, putting a third game in a series on there rather than Chrono?
Final Fantasy.
Well, it's Final Fantasy 6.
Yeah, I mean, that game's amazing. Like
top 10 games of all time.
Yeah, you could. I mean, honestly, I think even the most diehard Chrono Trigger fan would say you could flip a coin, and, you know, if one side is Final Fantasy 3, one side is Chrono Trigger, you're gonna win either way. Like.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong, because they're both good games. But I mean, personally, I'm a Chrono Trigger guy. Chrono Trigger so much, you can check out my Bandcamp page where I have Wings of Time, a musical tribute to Chrono Trigger, a 10-song record themed after Chrono Trigger. But that's just none of my business. But no, the Final Fantasy 6 or 3, whatever you want to call it, I think is a smart decision. It really depends on who you are and what your RPGs are. But they have, you know, Super Mario RPG on there, which is cool. Super Castlevania, which is a really great choice. I'm surprised Konami let them have that, considering their track record lately. But, you know, I'm happy with it.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. What's
it's weird though. Like, I mean, it doesn't really what doesn't really matter what they put on, because it's just gonna get hacked anyway, and then you can put whatever you want on it. And at the end of the day, it's all just emulation, which. I mean, and then this is something else that we have in here is the Switch that someone's found an NES emulator firmware on the Switch. So that might be a thing, might be able to emulate on the Switch, and then you can emulate on old Xboxes, you can emulate on your PC, and then we keep having these same games being re-released, and then there's virtual consoles for like every Nintendo system of the last like 3 generations that you could do the old games on and download them. Like, at what point does it matter anymore? Like, at what point do we get sick of having all these different ways to play these games?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. So for those of you who don't know, the Switch apparently has an internal NES emulator that's called Flog. What people are saying right now is it seems to be the tie-in for the online service, which is fine. And I think that's a great, bonus for having the online service. You pay your $20 a year or whatever it's going to be. But it's like, at what point do we still care about playing Super Mario Brothers 3? Like, I mean, I understand probably the culmination of that was having the NES Mini. That's all well and fine. I bought my NES Mini. But why do I want to play it on the Switch? I mean, I get it. It's, at this point, it's kind of like a pick-up-and-play game. But I am tired of playing these same damn games for the last 30 years on every Nintendo console. And I get it. That's their legacy. That's fine. People are going to pay money for that. And that's a smart business decision. Personally, I'm over it.
I'm getting really over.
No, I'm the same, dude. I've been loving the Neo Geo stuff. Like,
absolutely,
all the Neo Geo stuff on the Switch is great because it's a lot fresher, and it also is, if somebody say, oh, have you played King of Fighters 98? Probably not. Have you played Super Mario Brothers? Well, yeah, of course I have. Like, I've bought that game. I own the physical. I bought it on a multitude on the WiiWare. Probably on the Wii U. Like, I'm tired of it. I'm over it. Either give me some new systems, or don't even rush it. Keep doing keep this partnership with Neo Geo going. Look into Data East. Look into more arcade stuff. Like, there's so many. Yeah. If you could do more arcade little things, and like people are making these little mini arcade cabinets that I
saw that. That's cool.
Yeah, you can and you can customize them and stuff like that. Like, that's a cool market, because essentially when you think about it, the Switch is pretty much like a little mini arcade. You can take it with you. You could prop up the little kickstand. You take off your Joy-Cons, and you have a 2-player arcade anywhere you go. Like, I would embrace that aspect of it. Like, that's.
I just thought of the coolest thing. So, because you said arcade, I was like, oh yeah, a mini arcade. Imagine if you tilted the Switch screen vertically, and you could play the old Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong, like Donkey Kong 3. Arcades, like, as an emulation in a little stand-up thing. I think that's cool. Like, it is a little niche market, and especially now that you do have your Neo Geo stuff on the eShop or whatever it is now. Your Metal Slugs, your King of Fighters. It's great that those games are finally getting some exposure, because you could buy them on the Wii, the Wii Shop, but I kind of feel like not a lot of people did. But it's making these older games, these arcade experiences, more accessible to the general consumer. I think that's really cool, because there are better games out there and more fun games out there than Super Mario Brothers 3. I mean, not to knock the game, but it's like, okay, let's move on to something else.
Talking about moving on to something else, and off the back of me saying, are we sick of playing these same games over and over again? What about an N64 Mini? Is that going to happen next year? And if so, what kind of games do we want on that?
I think there's a good chance. It makes sense, especially considering, I believe, isn't there some sort of thing with the patent of the N64 is like,
25 years or something.
Yeah, and I mean, they could probably renew the controller patent with that, which would be good, because once that patent, goes away, systems like, the HD NES clones that are popping up all over the place, they're going to start happening with that too. And that's going to be an actual advantage. So if they could beat them to the punch with an N64 Classic, the ROM sizes aren't that big. It's not like it's a space issue or anything. So yeah, it's definitely something they should look into. I think you gotta the thing about the N64 is, in my opinion, it's probably the closest console that Nintendo's released to the Wii U in terms of the library, because while there was better third-party support than the Wii U on that, because you had like your sports games and whatnot, aside from that, it was a mostly Nintendo machine. Like, you think of all the great games, like, what's the first third-party game that pops into your mind that was like, a must-own? Like GoldenEye? Like
Banjo.
Yeah, but that was kind of a second-party game, though, because
that's right.
Because Rare was with Nintendo at the time, so like it's crazy to think about. But yeah, I mean, Super Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, just the standards. I don't even need anything outside. Maybe put like Sin and Punishment on there, translated or something. Oh yeah, that would be cool.
That's a great idea, but I mean, people are if that actually happens, that comes to fruition, people are going to cry because Banjo and GoldenEye isn't on there because it's already on the Rare package that's for the Xbox One, whatever it is, Rare Replay. So I mean, I think it's a great idea, and there's a lot of great games. Kirby and the Crystal Shards on there, maybe even the Pokemon Stadium. So like, it's a license to print money if they do decide to do that. And if they renew that patent, then they're, retaining the rights, because we're just waiting for the Retron HD, whatever, to come out and support N64 stuff. So I think it's a smart move if they do that. But will they do that?
I think they will, and I'm going to say why in a second, but I'm going to read out my little list of games that I wanted. I got 20 here that I want on this thing. I thought about it already. So you have 007 GoldenEye, Super Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Banjo-Kazooie, Mario Kart 64, Perfect Dark, Bad Fur Day, Donkey Kong 64, Star Fox 64, Jet Force Gemini, Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Snap, F-Zero X, Paper Mario, Wave Race 64, Yoshi's Story, Harvest Moon 64, Mario Party, any of them, and Bomberman 64.
You're missing one.
What am I missing?
Diddy Kong Racing.
That's in my maybes. Diddy Kong, Banjo-Tooie, Star Wars Pod Racer, and Snowboard Kids were in my maybes.
Ooh, Snowboard Kids. Great choice.
No 1080 and no wrestling games.
I thought about 1080, and I don't really think the wrestling games will make it.
But there's a workaround for the wrestling games. If they were to do the what the hell was it called? Virtual Pro Wrestling. So all of the wrestling games except all of the WCW wrestling games, and maybe WrestleMania. I think No Mercy was the only one that wasn't in that. But they were all ports. There was Virtual Pro Wrestling and Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, which had Japanese wrestlers. So you could get around the licensing issues and just make those Japanese wrestlers, just give them a generic name, and you would be fine, because there was no. I don't believe like New Japan or any pro wrestling company was actually tied into that game. I think they were just using independent wrestlers from that.
I mean, definitely, I would like a wrestling game on there. That would be really cool, even though it would just be, like 2 players? And how would... that's the other question. Before I talk about why I think this is definitely going to be a thing, what would the controller be? Do you think it would ship with the full-size 64 controller?
It would have to.
The NES and SNES ones are the same size, but they're so small and compact that it's easy. But are they really going to make a 64 Mini and then have the controller bigger than the actual system?
Well, I doubt they'd go this way, but Hori has a really nice N64 controller. So if they did something like that, I mean, that's a smart decision. But you'd have to ship it with 2 controllers and then have an option for 4, because people are going to want to play your Mario parties, your Mario Karts, all stuff like that. And even your wrestling.
It's a 4-player system. I mean,
yeah, that's right.
Have to.
Exactly. But we'll see. I mean, regardless of what games are on there, people are going to load stuff on there anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
The reason why you talk over me, the reason why I think it's going to happen is because I actually read this really interesting. I don't remember where I read it. It was a theory someone had, maybe on Reddit or something like that made a lot of sense to me, and I think it's very obvious. The reason why Nintendo isn't making enough of these systems, and they don't really even seem to care if there is enough of them, is because they don't really they don't want everyone to go out through holiday season and spend their money on these old NES classics and SNES classics. They want them to spend their money on the Switch. They want the Switch to be successful, because these short time little like systems, it's fun and it's great, but it's not going to really get them where they need to be in the gaming industry. It's the Switch. So they need to make sure they limit the stocks so that it drums up enough business, it sparks enough conversation about Nintendo, enough nostalgia, enough media coverage to promote Nintendo. So when someone goes into the store to buy, say, a SNES Classic, and Best Buy employee tells them, oh, we're all out, but you could buy the new Switch, which if you spend $20 a month or $20 a year, whatever it is, you get access to all the games that were on that anyway, plus you can buy Mario Galaxy. It's a way to get them in the store and buy it, but it's also smart. Just free marketing, really. I mean, you think about how much it costs them to put an ad at the Super Bowl, or any company to pay for marketing and pay for adverts, and that just gets something out there that people see and then go and buy the product. This is something Nintendo is physically making, an NES and SNES Classic, a physical, actual product, which they put out. They not only sell them like hotcakes, they all go, so they don't have any stock lying around. but it is their marketing. It is their adverts. It is their commercials, because I cover it on YouTube. Shawn covers it on YouTube. Everyone covers it on YouTube. The media talks about these like nostalgic Nintendo systems. The people are always ranting and raving about how they can't get their hands on one. It's Nintendo, 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 hashtag Nintendo. So it's just free marketing for them. They don't really care if they make enough. So I think it's a no-brainer that they would then do that again next year for next holiday season to amp up
exactly
Nintendo
right.
yet again.
I mean, like you're totally mistaken if you don't think that they're gonna only have like 100,000 of these, just because think of, like you just said, with all the PR stuff, the shortage of NES Mini. You know, how can we get one? And then people, you know, cry about because they got to spend $600 on Craigslist. Like, you're dumb if you do that. I'm sorry.
Or $300 on the Switch and emulate them on that.
Exactly right. And if they do the online service correctly, and let's just say this, if they do Wii games, Super Mario Galaxy is 10 years old this year. We have Joy-Cons, which are kind of like Wiimotes, and they have a thumbstick on the left one. So, I mean, I don't know. That's just conjecture at this point. But Wood, good thoughts.
You know how cool it would be to get a GameCube Mini?
I would love
a little tiny GameCube Mini.
I would love a GameCube Mini.
A little cube that fits right here in the palm of your hand.
That would be awesome.
That. A little carry handle. You could like hang it on the Christmas tree like an ornament.
Now, last time we talked, there was a couple games coming out. Now it's a little further in the future. ARMS. We've all played it. Shawn, what are your thoughts on ARMS now that it's like a month out from the release? Are you still playing it, or is it just kind of flash in the pan?
You're asking the wrong guy.
I know.
I actually was not.
I know.
I didn't like the demo, and I never bought it. And I played it some more at Too Many Games with Jason in the hotel room. Still didn't really care for it. I mean, I think it's a good game. It's just not a game for me. It's not a game that really captivated me for whatever reason. Like, I know people are enjoying it. I know people are loving it, and that's awesome. I could definitely see why they would be. It's just something that I couldn't get into for whatever reason.
No, that's fair.
I made that video about it, and it was a fun video to make, and I was definitely in support of it. And again, I could see people enjoying it, and I tried to stress the fact in my video that even I felt like in a couple of weeks I would probably be over it. And I played it a lot, amping up to that video, and then I live streamed it for a few hours after that video came out, and I haven't touched it since. I've been playing Horizon and a couple other things, but every time I think about playing it, I'm like, it's too hard.
I just can't be bothered. I'm the same way. Like, I'll play it when the Max Brass DLC comes out, which, by the way, why wasn't he character to begin with? But whatever. So, you know, I played it out of the box with the motion controls, you know, oh, wow, it's so cool, like I'm in a Nintendo commercial. But it's just like, if you want to be any bit competitive, you have to play it with the controller. And I don't know, it didn't really stick to me as much as I would have liked. So I'm trying to hunt down Crash Bandicoot Remastered today, just because I want to play something. But that's all I'll have until the Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC comes out, guys. It's been teased. What do you think about that? Why wasn't it in the initial game?
Well, are you talking about the one that's coming out next, or the one that just came out?
Next. Well, the Champions, whatever it is.
What is
DLC.
that? I don't really even. I don't really pay attention to Zelda stuff because I like to be surprised. But let's ruin it for me right now.
I think it's an epilogue.
You think? So like more.
I'm pretty sure. So it's like all the story stuff that happened before you wake up in your 100-year coma. Oops, sorry.
Spoilers.
So you learn more about Zelda. It looks cool, and they're coming out with the Champions amiibos. So I don't know. Why was it in the original game?
I'm enjoying the last DLC. I mean, it's nothing really crazy, but it definitely adds a lot of hours of gameplay. The trial, the Master Sword trial, it's really hard. Has anyone else tried that yet?
No, I haven't downloaded it yet.
Yeah, I haven't either.
It's stupid hard. I can't get past like the 8th or 9th floor. I don't have enough hearts, really, is what it comes down to. I need to go get more and try again, but I still see it being really hard. And then it's finding a bunch of masks and a few other things, and I don't know, it adds a lot to it for sure, a lot of extra like things. There's nothing too crazy. It's just, I don't know, I loved that game so much while I was playing it, but reflecting on it, I just really do miss a story. I really feel like we had little snippets of story that was part of this huge grand story that we never got to see. And I just felt really lackluster for a Zelda title.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, like the way they teased it, how when they did their previews for it, it was all kind of like video clips from the 12 memories that you need to get. So that really made it seem like there was such a deep story there. And there kind of is. But in order to really engross yourself in the story, you have to read about stuff online and read fan theories to like indulge yourself, because that stuff isn't there. So I hope that the Champions DLC kind of really fills the gap in there, because it would just make the game seem more full. That's what it was missing. I think it still is a 10 out of 10 game, but nothing's
absolutely.
perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. I did miss the story. The DLC is worth it. I'm having fun with it. It's just, it kind of just feels like stuff that should have been in the game already. I feel like, I don't know if I would justify a bunch of masks and stuff when there's so much in the game already, but you'll definitely have a lot of hours trying to beat that trial. That trial is pretty damn intense.
Oh yeah,
I haven't downloaded it yet.
Yeah.
So have either of you, let's jump ship here a little bit. Either of you watched the new Castlevania show on Netflix?
I watched about 5 minutes of it at work today.
Okay, how would you rate it out of 10? How would you rate the entire series?
1,000.
Okay, good, awesome.
No, the art,
I think it's good.
Yeah, from what I saw, the art style and the animation was very interesting. Everyone seems to love it, and even like cynical bastards on my Facebook are like, oh wow, this is pretty legit. So after we do this, that's number one on the agenda is to knock out. It just sucks. It's only 4 episodes. And season 2 isn't until 2018, and then that's only 8 episodes. Like, shit, give me more, man.
I don't know why they roll it out like that. I watched the first episode last night, and I was watching it. My wife was on the couch, and the very first opening, it's the woman, and then she like stabs a bat or something like that. And my wife is like, okay, that's too scary for me. So I sat on the couch and watched it. So it's too scary for my wife. So that's fine. I'll get some alone time and watch it. But I was sitting there after the first episode, and I was like, shit, this is good. I can't wait to watch like 12 more. And then just before the show, Shawn was saying, oh, there's only 4 episodes. I'm like, you're kidding me. I think it's a great thing, but it's like there's not enough of it. And then I have to wait another year. It's like last year when Voltron season 1 came out. Great show. But as soon as it's over, it's like, okay, now you got to wait another year. This is why I don't watch things until they're all finished, like Game of Thrones. I don't know if I'll watch it, but once it's done, I can finally watch it and sit and binge watch it. So I don't know. Great show, though. It looks cool. Great animation.
Yeah, and it's all based on, the time frame of Castlevania 3. So, and everyone's saying that they stuck with the source material and stuff, and so I'm very excited to watch it now. I was a bit hesitant, going into it, but it looks like they actually nailed it.
What? What the hell is the Atari Box? I don't know.
I knew you were going to ask me about this. I don't know how I knew. I just knew you were going to ask me about this at some point.
And I got a great follow up for you after you answer that. But
okay,
should I ask you now?
Yeah, ask me now.
Who is Shawn Long?
Shawn Long, you don't want to know who Shawn Long is. He kind of
is the dragon from Dragon Ball Z. Once you get all your Dragon Balls, Shawn Long comes out and grants your wish and revives, most likely.
No, that's Shenron. You're thinking of Shenron.
What about
Shawn Long? Looks like 8-bit Eric, but a little fatter.
No, oh wow, Jesus Christ! Kill me now. You ruined my joke. I was going to say, isn't that the guy you must defeat to stand a chance in Street Fighter 2? And then you could have went with, oh no, that's Shenlong. You fucked it up, Wood.
But how did I fuck it up?
Because you went ahead and just had to go for the jugular, had to go for the diss.
Look, the real question is, what is the Atari Box?
That's a good question.
And I honestly have no clue. I've done no research on this. Atari is coming out with a new system, and they're claiming it's going to be better than the Xbox One X.
No, I mean it's a system that supposedly is going to compete with the consoles that are out right now. There's going to be 2 versions of it, from what I've seen, and they're announcing it pretty much at the time of this recording, a week and a half from now, so probably around the 20th or something of July. There'll be concrete stuff, but it's been very interesting.
So let me get this straight. Atari, the Atari that we all know and love or have a mixed relationship with, is out of nowhere, after not making a system for 20 odd years or however long it's been, they are now saying they're releasing a brand new system that'll compete with the likes of Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
Yes, and so there's one of two things that are happening right now. Either A, they're batshit crazy, and I just mean you have to be literally,
I love that,
literally insane, or B, they have something, you know, because I just don't foresee a company, you know, coming out, especially with how the video game landscape is right now, and trying to introduce a new console. You know, like look at Sega. You would think Sega would come back into the hardware side of things before Atari would, because, you know, Sega's last console was, you know, what, 99 and ended
15 years ago?
Probably, yeah, but it died about 15 years ago, whereas what, the Jaguar was the last one of that, and that was pretty much dead on arrival. So like, you gotta think. And Sega, of course, did the Sega Forever thing, which, you know, is a weird thing in and of itself. But for Atari to come back and want to do something in the home console market to compete, they've either got to be batshit crazy or they've got something up their sleeve. They're working with someone. They've got something. I'm interested.
I'll say two words. Two words. You said Atari Jaguar was Atari's last console, and you're wrong. I'll tell you why with two words. Coleco Chameleon.
Okay.
Oh, fidget spin your way out of town.
See, the difference is with that is this is the actual, you know, people are saying, oh, this isn't the Atari you grew up with. And so that, whenever I see that, like in a comment section or something, I want to be like, are you stupid as fuck? Like, is Nintendo the Nintendo you grew up with? Is Howard Lincoln still saying, we're not going to have Night Trap on our system? Like, Jesus Christ. And no company is the same as it was during its heyday. Rare is not Rare anymore. You know, Nintendo isn't really Nintendo anymore. If it wasn't Shigeru Miyamoto, like, you know, he's pretty much one of the last pioneers that's still around. So, like, that's such a stupid thing. But the Coleco thing was basically they just bought a name. But like, this is actual like Atari. Like it's weird. It's very weird.
How much money does Atari even have left? Like, can they mass produce a system at this point and have enough out there to compete?
It must be that good of an idea that they have a lot of investors. They must have got a lot of people on. So like, in all seriousness, from what they've teased, if there's two versions, one may be a legacy box where I hope to God, if it's anything like the Ouya, it's going to be an absolute success. Whereas you can stream your games or no, that was the On Live. I'm sorry. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I can't imagine that it's going to be mind blowing. I mean, honestly, with Xbox and PS4 and Switch in the market with your main things, and then, you know, you got your PC market. I don't think there's any room for any more market share. And of course, it's not the Atari you grew up with. I mean, like, come on. Nintendo, like you said, Sean, it's not the same thing. So it's either going to be a legacy box or, I mean, what else are they going to do?
It could be, I mean, like, the Switch would be cheap to produce if it wasn't for all its moving parts and the screen. Its actual hardware inside is like just an NVIDIA shield. Like, it's cheap as hell. So if Atari made one without those moving parts and without a portable screen and it was just a home console, they could make one really cheap. It's just what are they going to put on it? Like, what,
yeah, Atari,
are they going to port Skyrim to it? Like, what's
well, I mean, even if they had amazing third-party support, there's no Atari games anymore to put on there. Like, Nintendo's games sell Nintendo platforms. Atari games don't really sell Atari platforms, you know, in recent systems because of, you know, if that was the case, the Jaguar would have been, you know, decent.
We can only play Missile Command so many times, guys.
If they just came out and said we're bringing out a new system, then it would be weird, but it would be like you could pretty much guess what it's gonna be. The fact that they've said we're bringing out a new system that's gonna compete, that word compete, that's what it's like. What are you doing?
They've already dug their grave with that, man. Like, if the CEO of Atari has come out and said, we are coming out with a console. There's going to be 2 iterations, and it's going to compete with the major market share in the video game industry. Like, I just like to spit the water out of my mouth the moment they say, like, it's all well and fine if you want to come out with a new console. Great, best of luck. But as soon as you say the word compete, I'm sorry, you've just dug an early grave for yourself. There's no way.
If they come out with like
based on
2 systems.
Well,
one's like,
no, it's based on PC technology, and their thing is we're back in the hardware business.
So it's a Raspberry Pi.
I mean,
that is confusing to every aspect.
Best of luck to them, honestly. I hope they succeed, but I think Atari, they had their time in the video game world, and came to a crashing halt. It like basically Mike Kennedy dug out the grave of the Atari Jaguar and tried to revive that as the tainted Coleco Chameleon. So I don't know. That has nothing to do with Atari. I just wanted to say the Coleco Chameleon.
How cool would it be though if it worked, and suddenly within the next 2 years we have Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and Atari, and we're just like, everyone's like, you got an Atari yet? Or like everyone's like, you have Xbox One? And they're like, no, I just have my Atari box. Like, how cool and weird would that be though?
This is 2017, man. Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. We're playing with fidget spinners right now.
I told myself I'm not going to buy a fidget spinner. And I saw it at Kmart for $2. And I'm like, oh, what the hell? I run a studio. Clients may come in here and may want to spin while I'm mixing. And I'm the only one who's played with it. So I'm like, gee, look at me. I look like an idiot.
4, and I haven't bought one of them. And I thought they were the most stupid thing until I had one in my hand.
I can't stop.
It's like this whole podcast, I keep been meaning to put it down in case people get annoyed, but I can't.
I've spun it. Really quickly, I just want to say, I've got 2 things. Wood, your beard looks great. You're looking really great lately.
Thank you. I'm growing it out.
And episode 3, or no, episode 4 of the podcast where we had Drew and Chris. Michael. Everybody was just complaining about Drew eating cereal, and I left it in because I thought it was the funniest thing. He's just like slurping the cereal bowl, like just you hear the spoon hitting the bowl, echoing on the milk. I thought it was the funniest thing, but apparently people don't have a sense of humor. So
it was pretty loud.
It was so loud.
It was funny, but it was kind of grating on the ears.
I could have easily edited it out. Believe me, I left it in there on purpose. I'm not some guy who's like...
Oh, it was intentional.
Oh, man, I really wish I could get rid of that cereal bowl noise.
So, what are we all doing here in the next couple of weeks? What games are we looking forward to playing? What are we playing? What are we doing? What's our lives look like from here on out?
Shawn, let's hear it.
Basically, it's just me and the Hisense 8000 versus the world.
That's great.
No, I just downloaded a game that released yesterday on the eShop, whatever the hell they call it, that I'm going to be reviewing. It looks actually pretty promising. It's called Implosion. It kind of reminds me of Metal Gear, the Revengeance one, the one where it was just Raiden and the hack and slash game. It looks pretty. It looks pretty cool, honestly. Obviously, it doesn't have that same high graphic fidelity, but the graphics actually look pretty good on it. So I'm looking forward to playing that. Obviously, Splatoon 2. I will pick that up at some point. I still need to get Crash, the trilogy. I just picked up a Saturn game that I've been wanting for a long time, Sonic Jam. That just came.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that came in today. I actually just somebody had it for like $70 or best offer on eBay. I offered $50 and they took it, and that's complete in box. So I was pretty happy with that. So that came in today. So yeah, just same old and Switch stuff and
just jamming out with some stuff. Yeah. What about you, Eric?
I'm trying to get a hold of the Crash Bandicoot Remastered. It's sold out everywhere, and the reason why, Target had it for $39. So that's pretty good when you consider the exchange rate.
What's it supposed to be?
Well, here it's $59.95 or $69.95, like in Australia.
Why'd they have it for $39?
Well, Target had it like half off, so it was a pretty good price, but it was all sold out.
Wow.
So I'm trying to trace it down.
You can't price match?
You can price match, but nobody else has it at the moment.
Oh. That's interesting.
other than that, I'm not really playing a whole lot. Thought about picking ARMS back up, but I really just don't care, honestly.
Yeah, it's funny. We were both pretty into that game, and you especially. And
I was like, I went and bought it the day it came out, and it was just, fun experience. I had a lot of fun with it for 2 weeks, and I took it out of the Switch to play Street Fighter Ultra HD, and even that I played for 2 weeks. Am I like, I'm just getting old, or what? My attention span, I just can't hold games, or maybe games aren't as good as they used to be. I mean, like I dumped like 60 hours into Breath of the Wild, but that was the last time I really played something great.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. I'm playing through Horizon right now. I've had it for about probably 3 weeks now, and I've played maybe like 10, 12 hours. It's just hard, especially with the channel. Me doing four videos a week, and like Shawn knows how much we're both sat at our computers editing and watching this stuff grow, and it's snowballing right now. So you just got to keep at it, keep working at it, keep making videos. And it's just every time I feel like I should sit down and play a game, or I have time to do it, I'm like, but I could make another video. Like I could just do one more video, and then I'm there all night editing and making a thumbnail. But yeah, my plan is to try and finish Horizon in the next hopefully the next couple weeks, because I actually got a new game for my Switch that I've been wanting to get for a while. It's a little game I like to call I Am Switch Sooner.
Oh, yes! Got it.
Oh, you've been waiting to show us that.
I've been waiting this entire podcast to bust that out.
Congrats.
So I'm actually really, really happy. A huge thank you to Patreon and friend Zach for sending me that in the mail. Yeah, I'm really excited. So awesome. That's my next project after I finally finish Horizon, whenever that may be.
Very good. Now, we're going to close. I'm going to close this podcast out with one thing. This is a surprise segment that nobody knows about. This is a brand new segment on the Everything's Taken podcast called The Forgotten Game of the Week, which may or may not be vaporware.
Oh, we should start doing little things like that more often. I like that.
That's exactly right. So, Forgotten Game of the Week, which may or may not be vaporware. Number one, it's a game that I've been looking forward to that is seemingly never going to come out. For those of you who are fans of Daytona USA, get ready for Wishes Unfulfilled. 90s Arcade Racer on Kickstarter. Last update, November 1st, 2015. Everybody demanding refunds in the comments. It's basically like Sega Reborn. It just looked like such a beautiful, brand new Daytona USA, which I love. And it's dead in the water. So that is our Forgotten Game of the Week, which may or may not be vaporware.
Well, was it?
What a depressing note to end.
But no, wasn't Nicalis doing the game? And like,
yeah,
they're doing so much shit on the Switch. Like, you would think they would do that. Like, they got that new 2D. Remember that 2D fighting game I showed you, Wood? That I was like, oh yeah, this reminds me of like a 2D Dreamcast fighting game that's getting a physical release on the Switch. Like, they've done Cave Story, The Binding of Isaac. They need to finish that damn thing, dude. I've been waiting for that.
Yes, and it was supposed to come out for Wii U and PC, and it's like dead in the water. And let's see how much money they raised. They raised
£16,000.
£16,000. So that's around $20,000. So there's a lot of money tied up in that, and it looks beautiful. Honestly, look at the screenshots. It's a hell of a game.
Yeah.
And it's just dead.
Nice. Well, why put that much effort? It looks almost freaking finished.
Well, it was one guy who was making the game, and then the production company or the publisher, Nicalis, got a hold of it, and then after that it was just gone. So I'm really bummed out about that.
That babe's pretty hot in the in that one picture, the arcade one. She's wearing like little Daisy Duke.
With the Champion Cup.
Yeah, nice thick legs. Like me some thick legs.
Well, unfortunately, she'll never be coming out, so
probably doesn't put out either. Anyway, we should probably wrap this one up.
All right, so let's wrap it up. So this has been Everything's Taken Podcast episode 6. Really quickly, feel free to listen to us on SoundCloud and iTunes. All our episodes are now up on iTunes. If you love the show, leave a review either on SoundCloud or iTunes or YouTube or whatever. Maybe we'll get around to making a MySpace page. Who knows? I mean, it's
I've been working on that.
Anything can happen.
I want to give a huge thank you to Shawn Long for coming on this episode.
RGT85.
Shawn, is a really great friend of mine. Honestly, one of my closest friends. We talk every single day nonstop. We help each other's channels grow, and our channels are very, very friggin' similar. So if you like my channel, there's a really good chance you're gonna like his. So I recommend checking it out. There'll be links in the description. But again, it's RGT85. Just give it a Google. His SEO will bring him up pretty pretty spot on.
I do have some good SEO. But yeah, thank you for having me on.
You wanna
Yes,
yeah,
of
you're
course.
welcome.
It's our pleasure.
Anything you want to end on? Anything you want? Like, this is the last thing you say. It might be the last thing all of my viewers hear from you if they don't check you out. So what's the last little note you want to leave them on?
Please don't ever call me 8-Bit Eric if you see me at a con.
That's valid.
You heard it here, folks. Don't ever call him 8-Bit Eric.
Awkward silence. That'll be cut out later.
Probably not. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching episode 6 of the Everything's Taken podcast with our great guest, RGT85 on YouTube. Please give him a subscribe if you haven't already. Wood, beat him up on YouTube. Me, Eric, Retro Game Remix on YouTube. Otherwise, we'll see you hopefully sooner than this time, which was like 3 weeks, man. It's been a little while.
That was my bad.
Spinners out.
Spinners out.
Rest in peace, Harambe.
Sun's out, spinners out.